What is up, everybody? I have myself muted, but that's okay. Welcome into episode 87 of the Brahma Bullpen. I got producer back out here in the cow pasture. Where you been, producer?
Busy. Working.
Busy working?
Yep.
All right, man. We got a great episode for you. As we've mentioned before, we're not doing an episode every week, only when there's significant news to talk about. And if you've been anywhere on social media in the past week or so, you've seen all the news about the Stallions relocation. You've seen all the news about Mike Rapole and what he's doing to them on social media. And we're going to talk about it and go through it. But I'm going to just say, I support everything that Rapole's doing right now. We're going to talk a little Brahmas draft here. We got some updates. We got some quotes from Mark Lillibridge that I was able to reach out to him and see what his ideas are for the draft. So we're going to cover that today. And then we're going to do a little Project Marvel talk down here in San Antonio, a little bit back and forth. Are you good with that, producer?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to touching on that.
Yeah. So let's go ahead, and first thing we're going to do, though, we're gonna pop up a little video here. And this guy's everywhere, podcast world right now. And so I'm going to just play the video and hope like 1% of the population that watches him actually sees this. But realistically, I want to play this because what he says in it was pretty profound and definitely fits into the space of what we do in this podcast here. And when I listened to it, it really made me think. So I wanted to make sure everybody that gets to see our podcast gets to hear what Josh Pate has to say right here about podcasting and just kind of show you what our philosophy is here. And it leads back into why we started this podcast in the first place. So let's go ahead and just pop up this Josh Pate video.
Don't know how to define competition in our space. People treat competition in digital media like it's 1993. So in 1993, if you got bussing going on and I got my show going on and we're both airing in Nashville, Tennessee from 3 to 7 p.m. in the afternoon, every listener you get is one I can't get.
Right.
There is no on demand. There is no replay. There is no download the pod tomorrow morning if you miss the live show. So we got to be at each other's throats. And I got to do whatever I got to do on the streets. I got to get in the pocket of advertisers and take you guys out because that's how I'm going to survive. 2025 is not like that. 2025 is high tide raises all boats. It is on demand. The audience is in full control. And so when you do good, if I have my head on straight, it actually helps me.
Right.
So all that gets in your way is ignorance or jealousy now. And it's crazy. It's as old as Cain and Abel. So it'll always be there. But to watch the guys who don't get it and who still try and talk about being competitive and they think competitive means taking views from someone. It's not the way the industry works anymore. And there was a whole bunch I didn't know. There's a whole bunch I still don't know. But I realized early on, if I'm watching other people who are doing college football on digital media, I'm rooting for them. I'm not looking at their viewership as being twice mine and saying, dude, man, I'm so envious of that. How do I take that for myself?
Right.
What I'm thinking is, how do I make sure I'm in their suggested videos feed? How do I make sure I get some rub with their channel? How do I make sure their audience sees me? I'm going to be active in their comment section. I'm going to do that. But the competition, dude, it's so misunderstood. The competition's with a standard. It's not with anybody else that's in the space. At least I don't think it is in 2025.
Dude, I could not agree with that thought process more. Like you said, there's so many eyes and ears in this world. And if you're a fan of sports and you go we were talking about New Heights, like they just had Taylor Swift on, they had 17 million views on Wednesday. That's a win for everybody.
Yes.
Like you're bringing more eyes and ears and hopefully they come and see you a little bit as well. And you get to snap off, 1% of those people want to stay with you and watch you as well.
It's crazy to think about it. But there's like 2 or 3 Brahmas podcasts out there. Some of those podcasts actually block other podcasts from posting content on pages and things that they're running because they're like worried about competition. But keep in mind, they're also old and don't realize what this podcasting world is. We don't go live. We don't produce live shows. We have some episodes that have been into the thousands of views, which is great for us. We don't really care how many views we get, but some episodes we do get 15 or 20 views, and some of them get more. So it is what it is, and it's kind of interesting to think about that. Like the more views any Brahmas podcast gets, the better it is for our podcast. What do you think about Josh Pate?
Yeah, look at the success the guy's had, and so he knows what he's talking about and the philosophy there. So totally relates to as being a Brahmas fan, being a Brahmas podcast. There's other podcasters out there covering the UFL, covering the Brahmas. Hey, we need to all work together. Bring awareness and attention to each other's channels. That's how we're going to grow.
We've had a ton of coaches and players on this podcast, and every one of them to a T has come on here with the sole purpose of raising awareness for the San Antonio Brahmas. First and foremost, the San Antonio Brahmas. The secondary to that would be the UFL. And even Coach Chris Acuff, if you get a chance, if you've ever seen that episode we did, you know what he told me? He said if one person watches this and becomes a Brahmas fan, it was worth his time. And that's what it's about. So I would never block someone from posting something on a page or whatever that I was part of, being like, oh, I don't want to promote this other podcast, whatever. That's not what it's about. And if that's what you guys are doing out there in the podcast world, shame on you. As long as the league is successful, the Brahmas are successful, then all the podcasts eventually will be successful, and we should all just work as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's help each other out.
Yeah. Josh Pate is definitely got the right mindset. All right, speaking of right mindsets, let's get into this Mike Rapole stuff. So we've all heard the relocation. We're not going to rehash it for the last 2 weeks. We haven't done an episode on it, but basically puts out this tweet. Hey, Birmingham, we see your Save the Stallions posts everywhere. Love the passion, but post and signing petitions don't pay the bills. And we've been saying it for 3 years. And I still call out even Brahmas fans. We've been saying this. We've been doing this podcast for 3 years. Butts in seats. Butts in seats. That's what we need to do. So one thing that's kind of cool is that here you have an owner. Everyone's crying about marketing. You see all these posts that I got kind of tied in here. Get a chance, take a look at them. Everybody's crying about it's the marketing. We always make jokes about billboards in Alabama. They're like, hey, we need a billboard outside the stadium and all this stuff. It's hilarious to me. You can't in one breath tell me that you're the number one TV market. There was actually one post that was like, we're the number one TV market. We need more marketing. Okay, well, being the number one TV market basically just translate to the most eyeballs have seen your stuff. You've been the most marketed. You got 3 championships, and you're the most marketed. You got the number one TV market. It's the same thing. So it's crazy that we finally got an owner that basically just comes out and be like, you know what? I'm done playing with you. Here's what you got to do. I need 15,000 butts in seats, and I need 5,000 season ticket deposits this week to save your team. So what do you think about the transparency of an owner? Clear, direct. Here's the standard. Here's the metric. Go get it.
Yeah, that's what needed to happen. I mean, they wanted transparency. People want transparency. That was also a complaint about things was what's going on. We want transparency, and now you're getting it. So, stop making excuses. Buy tickets.
Yeah. Right here, you got this Garcia Land right there in the middle of the page. Please stop scheduling games in the middle of the day and competing with church on Sundays. I guess Garcia Land has never seen a basketball game on a Sunday, NFL football game on a Sunday, a NASCAR race on. It's funny how they go, we're from the South and we all go to church down here. Hey, well, guess what? Talladega's in the South. It's in Alabama, and that place is packed when NASCAR comes in. So don't give me a bunch of crap about you guys are more holy than everyone else because you live in Alabama. Get that out of here. This Dakota guy, let's go. No 11 kickoffs on Sunday. I love 11 o'clock kickoffs. I don't know what's wrong with 11 o'clock kickoff. And then the other thing. This Desmond Dukes, and for the love of God, start advertising during the NFL season. Bro, Fox Sports had advertising on. They had UFL commercials in the Super Bowl. Like, what are we talking about here, man? Like, where are these people coming from? And then this Stevie guy. Stevie's one of the classic. I'm going to talk about Stevie some more later, but he's one of the classic guys out there. He's always up in my mentions. Tells me that I'm always picking on Birmingham, but they're so easy to pick on standing in there with no shirts on, dating their cousins and all that. But Stevie's up here is like, this is getting to be of a clown show. That who in this league sells 5,000 tickets in 1 year? Basically saying like this marketing that we've been crying for is too aggressive. So I had to jump on Twitter and be like, hey, we sure did went from we want more marketing to, oh, this new owner's being mean and giving us the standard. It's crazy, man, to think about it.
I agree. It was a clown show, or has been a clown show, but on the case of people's posts.
Yeah. Dude, it's been so awesome. I've been saving these things and just to bring them on here. Terry, the so-called massive drop in attendance is due to ridiculous scheduling. What are we talking about? Football games are on the weekends.
Saturdays and Sundays.
I don't understand.
That's the problem,
right? And then what do we got here? This the butcher's table right there. Somehow this is The Rock's fault because he doesn't tweet about it enough. The Rock's disrespected everybody. What does that have to do with you going to the game, right? Over here, the Saving the Stallions with the 5,000 tickets, right? Saving the Stallions pretty much single-handedly started the campaign that got Mike Rapole's attention. So kudos on him, man. I'm not taking a shot at him, but look at the guy underneath him. Who does bro think this is, or why would I want to buy a season ticket to not know if the team's coming? Well, tell you what, dude, don't buy a season ticket, and you will know that the team's not coming because he done put it out there.
You know what none of them said? Hey, I'm buying my tickets. I encourage you to do the same. Let's keep them here. Something like that. Just be simple. Otherwise, it's just excuses.
Yeah, you're kind of leading into my next deal, but the one and only up there. Maybe if season ticket holder prices weren't so jacked up, you might have kept some of us. We have to take out a loan to get good seats. I don't know about that. Like I don't know. I don't understand. You can buy they got tickets for like $20 a game. So like I don't understand what we're talking about here. So anyways, then I had AI. I'm like, hey AI, summarize all this nonsense for me. And then AI basically made this picture. Look, you got like the fake CEO. We need to sell more tickets to keep the team. And then look at all the excuses. We need a billboard. I'm very busy on Sundays. It's too hot. We need, it's like every excuse in the book, right? That they could just come up with.
Yep.
The other thing is, and then you got this mayor. So you got a mayor running for election there in Birmingham. And obviously we don't talk politics, but when politicians start talking sports, that kind of gives us the green light to talk about that. But even this mayor says, no cap, the Stallions are staying in Birmingham. Well, then on the right of the screen, you see Mike Rapole's like, hey, Birmingham deserves the Stallions just like the Packers do Green Bay. But 9,000 math doesn't work out. And he says to the mayor, hey, unless you just bought a whole bunch of season tickets, I don't know what you're talking about. You better keep buying tickets. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's, even the new owners even giving the local politicians a little razzing on the internet. It's just pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the strategy. Hey, what a better way to grab attention, get everybody fired up, hopefully, than to, help them appreciate their team, want them to stay there. But some of those reactions, it's hilarious.
Check out this C. Wood guy down there. How about we hear a plan on how they're going to market the team? You know what? Let me tell you this. It's March. Excuse me, not March. I got my whole month. It's August, right? You got all these NFL teams in camp. You got college football starting. You got NFL football starting. You have the major football players in this country going. And check this out. We're here, and so are local news outlets, so are local mayors, so are the relocation tweet by James Larson got over 1 million views. So here we are in August, going into September with NFL college kicking off, and we actually have millions of people talking about the UFL on social media. Hello, the marketing's working. Rapopole calls you out. Everyone's talking about it. The story gets leaked. Larson gets out on there, says stuff. I got news for everybody involved with the league, every fan, and everything. The marketing that you keep whining about is working because we're talking about it right now. It's wild to me. So with all this stuff, and producer can give some info on this if he wants, but I love the ability to talk trash from a position of power, from a position of control. If I am going to harass you, I want to make sure that I have the upper hand, right? That's my goal. So what did I do so that I could go online and talk trash to Pony fans? I bought a season ticket. I bought a season ticket to the Birmingham Stallions, other side of the country for me. Obviously, we're out here in the cow pasture. On behalf of United Football Media, if I forgot to mention that. But I'm out here in the cow pasture of San Antonio, Texas, literally 20 minutes from the Dome. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy me a season ticket because all these guys selling petitions, talking trash on social media, not doing anything. It's very simple. Put your money where your mouth is. So I went ahead and bought the season ticket so that I could have free range to talk as much smack as I wanted to. And believe me, I've been getting my money's worth. But also what I'm going to do, I'm going to give this ticket away to one of those pony fans crying about how much the tickets are and all this stuff. Look, I got a ticket. So we get closer to the season, tickets actually go fully on sale where I can go buy the full ticket. I'm gonna reach out to probably the biggest jerk in my mentions and just be like, you know what? How many tickets do you have for the game? Here's another ticket or whatever. Take a friend, whatever you want to do. I might even give it to, who knows? I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might even give it to State of the Stallions and have them do a giveaway every week and give it to someone local. Or I might give it to one of our Birmingham folks that are part of United Football Media and let them have it. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. If you guys jump in the comments, tell me what I should do. Maybe I should just buy the ticket and burn it. I don't even know what I should do with it. But so now I have 8 tickets to the San Antonio Brahmas. 8 season tickets to San Antonio Brahmas. How many tickets do you have to the San Antonio?
I think it's one of the 8, maybe, potentially.
You get to count.
I don't know.
You're counting one of my tickets?
I'm not sure. We'll see when we get there.
You're as bad as pony fans, dude.
I know. Hey,
yeah.
I didn't see any commercials. There's no billboards. No billboards by my house.
So more about Mike Rapole, man. So he does come out and on McElroy and Kubik, which is awesome that McElroy and Kubik down there do talk UFL. You know, we all know that Kubik covers the UFL during season. They have a everyday radio talk show, so they kind of slip it in there. Even though it's college football season and they're in Alabama, the heart of the SEC over there, like everyone, you know, Bama, Auburn. They still slip in the Stallions. They had Mike Rapole on there, and he basically said, hey, you haven't sold 5,000 tickets, but they were at like 3,500. And this is my favorite part. Look at the second line. You see hashtag UFL in blue, right? He says he was just having fun with the he was just having fun and trying to see if there was a post in the league. Now, if I can respect a billionaire going out there and jacking with a whole bunch of shirtless pony fans in Alabama for a few weeks to rile them up and razz up the fan base, I could definitely get behind that.
So basically, what we're seeing here is you and Mike have something in common. You see,
bit.
you paid $50 to mess with Birmingham people. I don't know what the amount was that he invested in the UFL, but he paid that amount to also jack with Birmingham fans.
So he's doing it from a position of power. He's doing it where you can't say anything. Hey, dude, I'm a third owner or whatever of the league. I don't know how much he owns. It hasn't really came out yet, but you know he put some money up in it. So he's like, I'm an owner. I basically just bought a license to jack with you. Now, obviously, I spent one season ticket, so $500, $400, whatever it's going to wind up being. But just to the first day of me doing this, I got my money's worth. It's the best entertainment ever. I even had one guy basically tell me my opinion doesn't matter because I'm not from Alabama, and I was able to tweet back at him, excuse me, sir, I am a season ticket holder. Thank you very much. So I do get to talk as trash as I want. So it's pretty awesome.
Well done, Mike. Well done.
Kudos from the cow pasture, and we look forward to many years of you continuing to jack with pony fans.
I agree.
Do you feel a little left out that he hasn't messed with the San Antonio Brahmas fans?
Oh, man. I don't know. I'd say I'm thankful.
Thankful?
Yeah. Just like whenever I'm not getting jacked with by you, I feel fortunate, you know?
Yeah. Did y'all notice I jacked with him a little bit in this episode? I asked him how many season tickets he had, and the answer is 0. So I'm jacking with him right now. And you might not even caught on to that. I'm doing it. I do give him a ticket to every game. And I do that for a position of power. Anyways, I love it.
I just need to buy season tickets. I'm just gonna spend the money and just save myself some heartache.
Save the dignity and spend your own money. Yeah, that's ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Anyways, let's get into some Brahma news, man. I freaking love this Mike Rapole guy. All right. Well, down here in San Antonio, there's been a lot of people messing with people a lot down here too. But in this case, it's politicians messing with each other and messing with sports fans. So we're going to talk a little bit about this right now. This is big news in San Antonio. Not so much for the Brahmas, but definitely for the San Antonio Spurs, which is our only other pro franchise here. And I'm going to tell you, this Mayor Gina Jones, she actually took a shot at the Brahmas. In one of the interviews, she said, hey, they built the Alamo Dome and they promised us an NFL team, and that never transpired. The Brahmas are cool, but it's not NFL. Listen here. The NFL started somewhere before once as well. The UFL has the greatest opportunity of success of any spring football league in the history of spring football league. And I will not have you disparage it just because you don't know what you're talking about. And I'll tell you another thing real quick, not to get on, I'm not on soapbox here, so apologize if this is not where we're supposed to go. I'll tell you another thing. The NFL was once two leagues, the American Football League and the National Football League. There was 8 or 10 teams in the National Football League, and they were all high and mighty. And they didn't want expansion teams in because they thought it was going to water down the market. It was going to make the NFL less watchable. Blah, 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 blah. Those were politicians saying that back then too. So then some other people got together and they started the AFL. And they said, we don't care what you say. We don't care what you stupid politicians have to say. And we're going to put a team. You know, one time there was an AFL team and an NFL team basically in Dallas at the same time, competing against each other. The AFL wound up moving that team to where? You know where
Kansas City.
There you go. Now look at where Kansas City's at. Kansas City Chiefs. That's where they started from, right? So think about this, right? Then the two leagues, what did they do? They decided instead of competing with each other, they merged into the NFL. Now, this all happened, 60 years ago or whatever it was. It's fine. And I'm not saying the UFL is the NFL, but if you look at the origin stories of the most successful pro sports anything on the planet in the history of the planet, it started the same exact way the UFL starting right now. So get on board or get out of the way. Sorry about that.
How about support it?
Well, I'm not even asking for that. I'm just saying get out of the way. Anyway, speaking of get out of the way. So this whole Mayor Gina Jones is coming in here and trying to slow roll this Project Marvel, which does include improvements. And we've talked about it on the episode before. Go ahead and check through our playlist and you'll find the Project Marvel on there. But she's trying to slow roll this term sheet. It is crazy that she's saying that they need to get an extra opinion on this EDC cost of benefit and projections that the revenue it's going to earn and blah, 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 blah. And she's referencing another city that did the same type of investment. Okay. And she didn't even do enough research to know that the city she's referencing used the same firm to do the analysis on the market that the Spurs used. So she's like, this city did this. And then they're like, yeah, well, we hired the same firm. So like, what else do you want? The term sheet in black right here, just read through that all you want. I'll let producer talk about this in a minute because he's all up on this. And I'm going to just turn it over to him. But the term sheet's there. And then this guy, Mike Taylor. He's was a local afternoon sports talk guy at one point. Now I don't know where he lives or if he's still local, but he's got a YouTube channel and he's kind of connected a little bit in the San Antonio sports community and doing his thing. Nothing against the guy. But he's talking about politics and he's calling us sports dorks because we get caught in our little bubbles and assume everyone sees things how we see it. They don't know that the sports fans are the minority and that the mayor's being reasonable. Well, slowing something that people have been working on for 2 years is not reasonable. And I don't know why anybody would say it's reasonable to slow it down. So anyways, producer, I'm going to need to calm down a little bit. Let's talk some Project Marvel.
Well, I've been looking into it and I've been following the story. I'll say a couple of things that really stand out to me. It's not mentioned here and we don't have any graphics for it, but that city council meeting that they held recently on it, I don't remember the exact date, but where they approved to move forward with the term sheet. Very interesting city council meeting. If you haven't had a chance to watch it and you're interested in that.
Don't watch it. It's 200 people standing on a microphone talking about stuff they don't know.
Mr. Holt speaking with the mayor was the most entertaining couple of minutes of it. That's worth a watch. Other than that, you can bypass it. But as far as the opinion expressed here by Mike Taylor, the mayor is being pretty reasonable. That's a common opinion among a lot of people that also want to express their opinion.
You know what opinions
city
are
council. Yeah, I do. Yeah, everybody has one, and they all stink. Yeah. So a lot of people express that opinion, but I think it's a uneducated opinion. They don't know what they're talking about. They didn't look into it enough. Let me ask you. You have a lot of experience in this type of area where budgets, what cities can spend their money on, and how budgets can be used in different ways, whether it's state funding or city funding. So to kind of just not get into it too deeply, but the funding that the city is seeking for their contribution, okay, can that be used for anything else, or can it only be used for a entertainment venue like an arena?
Yeah. Well, I hate to bust Mike Taylor's little bubble, but there are some dork sports fans that do understand a little bit about civil politics and how this type of stuff works. And I'll tell you that there's basically two main driving revenues for cities: property tax and sales tax. Okay. Obviously, those are self-explanatory. Property tax comes from paying tax on your houses and buildings. Sales tax comes from people buying things. Okay. There's another thing called a dedicated fund, right? So in this case, the state of Texas took a bunch of money, put it into a pot, and said, hey, everybody, if you're going to do a project that does X, Y, and Z, here's a pot of money for it. You cannot take that pot of money and use it to do A. It's a dedicated fund with a specific purpose, in this case, economic development. So let's say that I want to build a new water line. Okay, prove to me that it's going to have an economic impact. Okay, great. We're going to build a new building. I want to charge so much for water per month. Okay, let's say I'm going to build a new road out of this dedicated fund. Okay, well, prove to me that it's going to have economic, impact, right? In this case, this is a development fund specifically built for entertainment districts. So you can't take it to build a park, or you can't take it and go, I don't know, do whatever random stuff, whatever random politician wants to make up. City budgets have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of line items on them, and they all go certain places. Then the other thing is there's a hotel tax. Okay, so a long time ago, the city said, we're going to put an extra tax on every hotel room. And mind you, every major city in this country has that. It's not just a San Antonio thing that they just made up for this. And they say, what can we use it for? Well, it's meant to drive people into visiting your city. It's a visitor's tax that you then reinvest to make new cool stuff for visitors to want to come do. In San Antonio, we got the Alamos, we got the Riverwalk, we got a bunch of businesses down there, and there's hotels, and we were at one time called Convention City, USA. So you could take this hotel tax and use it to incentivize more conventions, i.e. build a big convention center, Henry B. Gonzalez, and have a bunch of conventions down here where people bring their money from where they live with them, and then they go to the restaurants and bars and blah, 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 blah. They spend it. Yep. And now you generate the other part of tax called sales tax, right? Some sales tax revenues can be dedicated. Some sales tax revenue go into the general fund, and the cities can divvy them up as they want. In this case, they're saying, hey, we're going to take this special taxing district. So just draw a little map around downtown San Antonio. It's not even all of San Antonio. It's not the whole darn place. It's
centered around the arena, basically.
Right where you might want to build an arena.
Yeah.
And call it Project Marvel. And have an Alamo Dome and some places to go hang out. And they say, this is a special little taxing district. And we're going to take this money. And this is the money that we're going to use to build this district. And what it is, the city takes out a big loan. It's fine. Happens all the time. All cities have debt. That's what they do, right? They all have debt. Then they take that money that this little district earns and they use it to start paying back the debt. And sure, it's going to take 30 years. Every project big cities do take 30 years to pay it back. It's very, very common. A lot of people would be paying, but it's not being paid for by. So that's what's happening. The funds that they're trying to redirect can't even be redirected.
Yeah. And then you're talking about the economic impact of it. So you're talking about during that 30-year period, when the sales tax is reimbursing that loan, you're talking about Airbnbs, hotels also being used, restaurants in the area having people, so people visiting downtown. So then you're getting that economic growth and feeding that as well. And so we see the benefit of it. Yeah. But
it's circular. It's all circular.
Yeah, but to the point being made,
and not even putting another thing. You make downtown nicer. People visit downtown. Nice hotel, nice restaurant, nice Spurs arena. Go to the game. Go to a Brahmas game. Go walk the Riverwalk. They have unique bars and all this type of stuff. They have breweries and everything that people like to do. Then they go, you know what? San Antonio's pretty nice. They keep it real clean down here. They got a lot of stuff to do. Oh, you know what else is cool about San Antonio? The houses are 20% cheaper than they are in Dallas or in Austin. You know what I'm going to do? I think I wouldn't mind living in San Antonio. Then they buy a house in San Antonio. Now that same person is paying property tax and continuous sales tax everywhere else in the city. And you know what happens? The city's revenue goes up.
Yeah.
And then the last part I'll put about it, there's a stipulation that no one's talking about. That if this deal goes through, the San Antonio Spurs promise to be here for 30 more years. And so it guarantees that all that money comes back in that length of time while they're paying back the loan. So you don't even have the risk of them leaving and then being stuck holding the bag.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many things to consider about it. But the funds, this strategic pause that was requested and sought after, we can see why the majority of city council didn't support it. My question would be, and this is what I'm curious about it, whether you support the mayor or her viewpoints or however you feel, we're going to take a neutral stance here. But my question would be, is if she still is trying to stop the project and the funds that she's trying to get from the project cannot be used for anything else, my question would be, what is the motive? I think that anybody that wants to have an opinion on it would need to answer that question to have an educated viewpoint.
All I want is someone to go have a beer and watch a game.
I agree. I think it would be great having a Texas Live potentially down there. Yeah. I mean, that would be a really, really nice sports district. So I personally hope to see it happen.
Yeah. So. Anyways, let's get on to some more Brahma news and get off of that. So on the day of recording this, it is Monday. Tomorrow, when this is getting posted, it will be Tuesday. And on Tuesday is NFL Cut Day. On September 2nd, that is the San Antonio Brahmas rookie draft. So, as we all know, right now, we do not have an announced coaching staff. Coaches for some teams do have pretty much the coaches that are going to come back next year. But the San Antonio Brahmas do not, with all the turmoil we went through last year with Wade Phillips and the A.J. Smith and interim coach Peyton Pardee and all that stuff. So we really just don't know yet. But there is one person, a full-time employee, that is still with the Brahmas, and that is our general manager, Mark Lillibridge. Bridge, as he's affectionately known by many of the people and players around the Brahmas. So I reached out to Bridge, just basically like, hey, I know the draft's coming up. What you got going on, right? So, and I was able to ask, are you going to be in the room by yourself, or are you going to be having a coach there with you, kind of, i.e., you're going to slip who the head coach is going to be? But he was very professional and did not slip anything. He basically said that there are no league coaches under contract, meaning even the ones that know who their teams are going to be, those coaches are not currently under contract because it's a year-to-year. They're seasonal employees, just like the players. They come and go as the season starts. But some GMs might already, know who their coach staff is, so they might have someone there helping and assist and provide some feedback. But in our case, that's not the point. And before we go any too much further into this article, there's another article that's on BrahmaBullpen.com. Make sure you check that out if you want. But we already listed our top 5 players we want the Brahmas to re-sign and why. Those are players that were with the team last year. This article, we're going to talk about new players assigned and potential draft picks. But evidently, it's been pre-merger days, so all the way back to USFL days. It's pretty much been the way it's set up. So it's normal operating business to have basically the general manager have primary control over the players that are on the roster until the coaching staff gets there. So, like I said, he talked about coach staffs like Mike Nolan. They know they're coming back. So maybe Panthers general manager Steve Kazar is going to listen and take some of that feedback. from Mike Nolan. For the Brahmas, we don't know that. But I was able to ask Bridge what his goal was with this draft, and it's pretty simple. Sorry about that. It's pretty simple. He says he wants to draft the best 10 players available, meaning to me that he's going to take the top talent and then they will massage the playbook to fit the players, which is absolutely a winning mentality and concept.
Yeah, I mean, get the best out there, see what you can get under the circumstances and with the coaching the way it is. Nobody under contract, you don't know perhaps exactly what you're going to do, so that's about the best strategy you can have.
Yeah, and just for all of the fans out there and everybody out there who's interested, even the general manager at this point does not know when the coaching staff is going to be announced. So we're all in the same waiting period, not just media, podcasters, fans, but also team officials, in this case, the top team official, our general manager. So one of the things we'll talk about is players who want to sign. So we'll talk about Mark Lillibridge. He's always wanted to have a strong defensive front. You just think about Brahmas, you think about defense. In 2024, the Brahmas led every major statistical category as far as defense goes. So you want to go right off the bat. We're probably we saw a huge drop in sacks this past year. So one of the positions for sure I think they're going to look at beefing up is the D-line. So there's a report out for James Komora. He was actually drafted by the Brahmas in 2024, and Heavy.com is saying that he's right on the edge of being cut. Like, he might not quite make the roster. So he's got the talent, he's got the speed, he's got the size, he's on the D-line, he's versatile, great edge rusher, and it's always been something that spring football's needed is these hard-to-find edge rushers. So what do you think, producer, if we could get JMU standout defensive lineman that spent time the last 2 years with the Chicago Bears to come down here and actually play for the San Antonio Brahmas, which the Brahmas do have the rights to?
Yeah, I would love to see him. Definitely need that D-line help. You mentioned the drop in production. We went from such a dominant defense to it was a unit that was very weak in the UFL.
Weak? Man, players not gonna like you calling them weak.
Our numbers, the production wasn't as high as other teams. So yeah, definitely need improvement there. Edge rusher be great. He's not a player that would qualify for the draft due to already being with the team, but could definitely be picked up and added. He's somebody I hope to see on the team.
Yeah. And, we lost Garrett Nelson signed, which was one of our edge rushers, signed with Denver Broncos. Had a great NFL training camp, so it leaves a little void there, right? And the other thing is we're not asking for someone to get cut from the NFL. We're just basically playing armchair quarterback or couch GM, whatever you want to call it, and saying, hey, here's some names that would be kind of cool. We already have the rights to them. Bring them down here, that kind of deal. And then if he wants to make it back to the NFL, you see how many players. I think it's close to 100 players got called in for workouts, I think, already this year. I know it's over 60, and I think there's some that we don't even know about. But a bunch of players have already got new game film, more reps, came in shelf. I think the Detroit Lions by himself have like 8 players, and Dan Campbell, the coach of the Detroit, basically said, hey, these dudes are all in shape. They've been playing football, and they're ready to rock and roll. I need bodies. This is where he's looking for bodies. Mm-hmm. And, so Cremora, come down here, help the Brahmas win a championship next year, get some game film, right? Next thing, tight ends. Now, basically, Steven Stylianos was signed with the NFL team, but I believe he's also been released at the time of recording this. But we've kind of had a gap to fill at tight end ever since Cody Latimer got hurt, and he's been on the coaching staff last year now, so he's still around. But we've been looking for that hybrid receiving type wide receiver, like not a blocking tight end. We want a receiving type tight end. So Stylianos was with Detroit. So we got Brant Kuth out of Utah. Now he's one of those super seniors that played college football for like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, which used to be unheard of. 6 years at Utah, to be exact. 184 catches, 2,387 yards, and 22 touchdowns. He's that pro. And the reason I'm throwing his name out there is because he fits the Cody Latimer type of tight end, where he's a good route runner. He can block when he needs to, but he's that hybrid. He's that hybrid to get those mismatches with the linebackers going over the middle. So I kind of threw his name out there. And he's an undrafted free agent. So he's available. He's got experience, and he's exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah, I like him. Texas ties from Katy. He's close to home if he came to San Antonio. And then you talked about Cody Latimer, the hole he left. The offense production just wasn't quite the same.
Yeah.
And so, we could really use somebody like that to help bolster that.
Yeah. And another offensive, bolstering some offense, because that's where we need some work. All right, I'm going outside the box here, producer. I'm
quarterback.
I'm going way outside the box, okay?
All right.
The elephant in the room, we definitely want Kellen Mond to come back. I'm a huge Kellen Mond supporter. Hope he comes back, but let's get him some competition in there. And one thing we know about spring football is mobile quarterbacks are the way to go. Has a lot to do with the fact that offensive linemen are hard to find. And so you need those quarterbacks to be able to move. Not one pocket passer has actually had a tremendous amount of success in winning championships in the UFL. I guess the only one you could think that did really, really good was probably A.J. McCarron for a couple of years. But even he didn't win a championship. Every championship team has had somewhat of a mobile quarterback in the backfield. So why not go with the quarterback that's actually playing wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? What do you think about getting a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Garrett Green, to come play QB for us down here in the cow pasture? What do you think about that?
That would be interesting. Good NFL experience. So, as far as game environment, that'd be good. I don't know much about him personally. I'd be interested to see what kind of quarterback he could be as far as what his stats are, how accurate he is. But that's an intriguing thought.
Well, he passed for a few thousand yards at West Virginia as a West Virginia Mountaineer quarterback.
Interesting.
He's somewhat of a legend over there in the Mountain Dew areas of the southeast, so to speak. Because West Virginia south has got to be somewhere over there. Anyways, the Appalachians and all that over there. But yeah, he played quarterback down there, and he's on the team as a wideout. And it's hard to see him making the team as a wideout because they got some really good wideouts there already on the roster. So, and he's had some pretty impressive plays in camp. There's some highlights. If you go to BrahmaBullpen.com, you can read the full story there, and we even have some highlights linked in the article. You can check out BrahmaBullpen.com. But the reason why I threw this name out there, tons of quarterbacking experience in Division I football, playing wideout, and also making plays in the preseason and training camp, which has got him some hype. And guess what else?
What's that?
Coach Peyton Pardee was there to see the whole darn thing.
Really?
He's
really?
been. I mean,
that's right. That's
right.
right.
That produced.
Yeah.
One,
I see. I
two,
see.
two. Hey,
I got you.
There
I got
go.
you.
So
Yeah,
you might
very
think this guy's
interesting.
crazy. This guy's crazy talking about wideout. Not crazy. It's crazy like a fox. Crazy like a fox, producer. This is what I'm thinking.
Hey, if he can give Mon some competition, I mean that's going to push Mon to be better if Mon starts.
Yeah.
But competition's always good.
Worst case scenario, Mon gets starting QB, and you got another wideout ready to rock and
There
roll.
you
I mean,
go.
come on, versatile. What?
Yeah.
What else do you need? Come on, man.
Bring him on.
Get
Bring
this
him
guy
on.
down
I'm
here.
ready. I'm ready.
Get him down here. And that's it. That's our episode. Thanks for joining. Producer, do you want to tease? You want to tease him a little bit?
As far as Project Marvel goes, I'll say I've been I'm kind of new to this. I'm working my way into it a little bit, especially with the new website and stuff. And I always appreciate appreciate the articles that you work on and put out. I'd like to try to do that some myself. So I'm working on an article right now. the thought of a new arena coming to San Antonio for the Spurs, what would that be like? There's not really a lot of details. We can speculate a little bit and think about it, but I'm putting out an article on what it may consist of. What could that arena have in it? And so, for fans looking forward to that, maybe they give them food for thought, and I hope it's something that y'all enjoy whenever it comes out.
Keep your eye out on BrahmaBullpen.com. BrahmaBullpen.com. I'll tell you another thing. We've teased it, but we're going to have one of the hardest hitting articles come out on BrahmaBullpen.com later this week, where we really dig into some crazy things happening in the International Football Alliance. We're still dotting some I's. We're still crossing some T's. We're still having some confidentiality agreements signed. And we're still giving the International Football Alliance the opportunity to come in here and give their side of the story before we publish the article. But we have credible sources, multiple credible sources, and these are not even all players. Like, we got cooperating things going back and forth.
Don't give too much away.
But stay tuned for MamaBullpen.com. We're going to put the article out, and we'll probably do a podcast on it too once the article's out. But we're still dotting I's, crossing T's. So stay tuned for all of that. Keep your eye out. BrahmaBullpen.com. On behalf of United Football Media, we're going to get out of here like we always do with a nice horns forward. Let's go Brahmas, baby.